everybody. Welcome to another episode of Bridging the Gap. It's Friday, June 25th. We're on the eve of Call Center Week. I'm Jeff Kirchick. I'm joined by James Purvis and our guest, Carolina Aramayo from BBVA Compass Bank. Carolina, how you doing?
I'm doing great, Jeff. How are you?
Doing well. Good to see you again. Yeah, I'd love if you wouldn't mind just telling us a little bit about yourself and your role.
Sure, absolutely. So right now I've been with BBVA about 11 years, and my career has been focused on call center transformation. This was a role that was created because, the day-to-day with contact center operations, it was difficult, to have the right person dedicated on process improvements and innovation and efficiency with the business operations. So we created this transformation role with my team, and our goal is to support the operations as if they're our clients, really focused on how can we make the business more efficient? How can we keep up to speed with the latest innovation and technologies and keep implementing process improvements?
Awesome. Yeah, and how have you seen the contact center evolve over the last several years?
Definitely the role of the contact center has become more important and more centered for taking care of customers, especially with COVID this last year. I know that the company a few years ago made a bold statement on wanting to be the best digital bank. And with that, they really started to focus on the contact center as a core for servicing, whereas before it was more seen as more low-level service as opposed to like servicing within the branches with tellers. And then with COVID, with everything having to move remote and digital, the contact center has become such a core area to take care of customers. And that's been the biggest shift that I've seen. And the investment in call centers with the technology, with being able to take care of customers if agents have to work home, like remote from home, and having the right security. I've just seen a really big explosion on that investment these last few years.
Yeah, so that's interesting how you describe that. I hear that a lot, where the importance level is really uplifted with the work from home and the contact center having a much more, a bigger impact in the overall, really the business outcomes of these organizations. I'm curious if now that COVID's we went through that phase, and then now we're kind of coming out of it a little bit, as folks start to go back into the office and so forth. Curious your thoughts around what the future brings. Like if we start really going back to somewhat of a normal world, if you want to call it that, is it going to be less important, or do you foresee that change being somewhat permanent?
I feel like the change is going to be somewhat permanent, not in terms of, I do see the companies that are going back to working in the office, you can tell there's a big difference. It depends on the culture of the company. I'm seeing more conservative companies wanting to go back right away. And I'm seeing other companies realizing that, wow, we can actually do this efficiently, and maybe we can keep a lot of our workforce still working remote and save on costs. So I think that the technology that we've been forced to use with authentication and security on servicing customers remotely is absolutely has helped accelerate that servicing. And I don't see us going back. I think it's going to continue on in the business model going forward.
Yeah, that makes sense. And just speaking of technology, you brought up a couple different technologies and kind of what the future is going to bring. Is there any in particular, any technologies that you think are going to make a significant impact over the next 12 to 24 months that's worth sharing?
Yes, I think what I've been seeing that's going to make the most impact is technologies using AI and machine learning, and just using data and really being able to take data and get information from it to make predictions and to change behavior, and to give feedback to clients. And I'm seeing this in all different aspects, with training, with QA, with security, with helping the agents. I'm just seeing a trend of this around the industry.
Awesome. Thank you, Carolina, for joining us for an episode of Bridging the Gap. And thank you for all out there who are listening. Have a great weekend.
Thank you so much. We appreciate your time.